Welcome, my friends. You have found me. This is Indiana Homes and my YouTube channel, where I focus on Disneyland, California Adventure, and other theme parks and experiences like Knott's Berry Farm and county fairs. Today's subject is Pirates of the Caribbean. The Pirates of the Caribbean attraction was the very last ride that Walt Disney himself had worked on prior to his death. It was, in fact, part of the original design for Disneyland. Walt Disney oversaw the production of Pirates of the Caribbean up until he became too ill to do so. It's said that Walt Disney loved New Orleans and the culture of the Deep South and wanted to represent that culture and that part of American history in some type of attraction at Disneyland. And so he came up with the idea of Pirates of the Caribbean so that he could share his love of that area of the country and that history with all of us. Pirates of the Caribbean is a dark ride at Disneyland, Walt Disney World's Magic Kingdom, Tokyo Disneyland, and Disneyland at Disneyland Paris. The ride tells the story of a band of pirates in the West Indies islands around the Caribbean Sea in the 17th and 18th centuries, with the saga of their voyages, troubles, and exploits. The original version of the ride opened at Disneyland in Anaheim, California in 1967 and was the last ride whose construction was envisioned and personally overseen by Walt Disney, who died 3 months before it opened. After immense popularity, the ride was replicated 6 years later at the Magic Kingdom of Walt Disney World near Orlando, Florida in 1973. Versions followed at Tokyo Disneyland in 1983 and at Disneyland Paris in 1992. Each of the initial 4 versions of the ride has a different facade, but a similar ride experience. The Pirates of the Caribbean ride gave rise to the song A Pirate's Life for Me, written by George Bruns and Xavier Atencio. The ride became the basis for Pirates of the Caribbean film series, which debuted in 2003. Since 2006, Disney has incorporated characters from the film series into Disneyland, Magic Kingdom, Tokyo Disneyland, and Disneyland Paris versions of the rides. A different ride influenced by visitors' familiarity with the worldwide success of the feature film series, Pirates of the Caribbean: Battle of the Sunken Treasure, opened at the Shanghai Disneyland Park in 2016. Opening on March 18, 1967, the Disneyland version of Pirates of the Caribbean was the last ride that Walt Disney himself participated in designing, debuting 3 months after his death. It is located within New Orleans Square portion of Disneyland. Its facade evokes the antebellum era of New Orleans, topped by a 31-star United States flag, which would indicate the 1850s. It was originally envisioned as a walk-through wax museum, but with the success of the boat ride concept of It's a Small World at the 1964 New York World's Fair, Disney decided to employ the same ride system on Pirates of the Caribbean. The ornate initials of Walt Disney and Roy Disney, WD and RD, can be seen entwined in the wrought iron railings above the ride's entrance at Disneyland. An overhead sign at the boat dock names it for the famous pirate Jean Lafitte, or Jean Lafitte, although the name is spelled differently as the pirate himself originally spelled it, rather than with the English spelling, which has now become the standard. The pirate Jean Lafitte fought alongside the U.S. Army at the Battle of New Orleans in the War of 1812. The second floor of the facade was originally designed to be a private Disney family apartment, but was later opened in spring of 1987 as an art-related retail museum space called the Disney Gallery, and was replaced in 2007 by the Disney Dream Suite. The original installation at Disneyland was manufactured by Aero Development and Aero consulted on the next 2 installations. The ride's passenger-carrying boats are very similar to those in the patent assigned to Walt Disney Productions, but filed by Edgar A. Morgan, one of the founders of Aero Development. Arrow participated in the design and development of many rides at Disneyland from 1953 onward. There are 630,000 gallons of water, 53 audio-animatronic animals and birds, and 75 audio-animatronic pirates and villagers in the ride, and takes 3 days to empty and refill the bayou for renovations. Across the boarding area, within the ride, is the Blue Bayou restaurant, made to look like the backyard dinner party of a southern plantation. The restaurant opened the same day as the ride and is considered one of the original theme restaurants in the park. The debut of Magic Kingdom at Walt Disney World in 1971 brought many popular rides from Disneyland to the East Coast, but Pirates of the Caribbean was not among them. As the Caribbean region is geographically located near Florida, it was thought a Caribbean-themed ride would not hold the same mystique as it did in California. Instead, the Western River Expedition with Big Thunder Mountain would replace the ride with similar boat rides and other themed rides. Walt Disney World visitors were vocal in their disappointment at missing the ride, leading Disney to quickly announce a Florida version instead of the Western River Expedition. The new Pirates of the Caribbean ride opened on December 15, 1973. Additional iterations of Pirates of the Caribbean later opened at Disney parks in Tokyo and Paris. The opening of Disney Gallery in 1987 also coincided with the ride's outside queue area being completely redone to improve traffic flows. A bridge walkway was built in front of the entrance to allow crowds to pass through New Orleans Square without causing traffic jams, with guests waiting in line for the ride. The following is a detailed summary of what appears in the original Disneyland version of Pirates of the Caribbean ride from 1967 to 2006. An episode of Walt Disney's Wonderful World of Color shows Walt Disney during the conception stage, as well as presenting footage of the ride's opening day. Further details of the history and behind-the-scenes footage of the attraction were chronicled in the 2005 book Pirates of the Caribbean: From Magic Kingdom to Movies by Jason Sorrell. The ride begins among glimmering fireflies during an evening in Louisiana Bayou. Riders board their boats at Lafitte's Landing and are at once floated in the heart of the Bayou country. Banjo melodies including "Oh Susanna" and "Camptown Races" can be heard as guests pass by houseboats, one of whose porches features an old man calmly rocking back and forth in his chair and smoking a pipe. Above a stone archway, a talking skull with crossed swords, voiced by Xavier Atencio, provides words of warning before the guests' boats takes a plunge down a waterfall into a dimly lit cavernous passage where voices can be heard singing the theme song. After a second plunge further into the depths of the underground grotto known as Dead Man's Cove, guests behold the skeletal remains of an unfortunate band of pirates guarding their loot and treasure with macabre delight. During this section, a voice can be heard repeating the phrase, "Dead men tell no tales." The boats glide gently past an old pirate shipwreck, though the helmsman is nothing more than a skeleton, doomed to pilot the ship through a thunderstorm. Moving onward, the crew's quarters are complete with skeletal pirates frozen in time, playing chess and drinking rum. One skeleton drinking a bottomless bottle through an exposed rib cage. The captain's quarters features a bony corpse examining a treasure map in a bed, while an old harpsichord plays the theme song, and a huge amount of treasure being guarded by another skeleton pirate. As guests continue through an empty dark tunnel, two ominous voices boom from above, warning of cursed treasure and what lies ahead. Once guests are out of the tunnel, cannonballs whistle overhead and explosions throw water into the air. A first battle in the Caribbean between marauding pirate galleon, the Wicked Wench, and a Spanish fortress is in full swing. The deck of the Wicked Wench, the pirate captain, modeled on Blackbeard's appearance and voiced by Paul Frees, leads the assault as colonial defenders can be seen manning fort's cannons, barking orders to each other in Spanish and shouting threats at the invading pirates. The village of Puerto Dorado on Isla Tesoro is overrun with pirates in search of treasure. The first sight is the town square where some pirates have kidnapped the mayor, Carlos, voiced by Paul Frees, and threatened to drown him in the well if he does not divulge the location of the treasure, or later on, of the pirate Jack Sparrow. Carlos's wife, voiced by June Foray, peeks out of an upstairs window, telling him to be brave and not talk, and is shot at as Carlos is repeatedly dunked in the water while a line of captive city officials look on. An auction scene follows where an auctioneer pirate, voiced by Paul Frees, tries to sell off the local women with the banner, "Take a wench for a bride." Of course, this is no longer the case in the Pirates of the Caribbean ride, as this feature has been changed, and now the brides, or the women, chase the pirates around as the pirates try to make off with food. Riders then watch carefree tipsy pirates sing "Yo-Ho, A Pirate's Life for Me" as they succeed in ravaging the town and setting it aflame, filling the night air with an orange glow. Others wallow in the mud, one pirate in particular sleeping with pigs, and a pirate named Old Bill offering rum to stray cats. The boats next float past the dungeon where imprisoned pirates, voiced by J. Pat O'Malley, are doing their best to escape as the flames draw near. A small dog just out of the prisoner's reach holds the keys to their escape in his teeth. He seems all but immune to the pleas of the pirates trying to coax him closer. One of the pirates holds a noose, hoping to trap the dog. Timbers are smoldering and crackling overhead as riders sail through a storage room filled with gunpowder, cannonballs, and rum-filled barrels. Gun-shooting pirates continue singing and shouting between the inebriated crew and captain of the pirate ship in a flaming ammunition warehouse threatens to demolish the entire village. Finally, at the end of the ride, the boats proceed up a lift hill, which passes two pirates trying to lug treasure up the hill. Now, this has changed, of course, because now we see Captain Jack Sparrow sitting happily in a chair with all kinds of pirate treasure around him and drinking rum. Riders reach the top of the hill and spill back into the sleepy bayou where the journey began. So, Pirates of the Caribbean has gone through many changes and refurbishments over the years, but the ride itself remains the same. Among the changes was the addition of references to the Pirates of the Caribbean film franchise, some of which have made it to other parks as well. I hope you've enjoyed this brief history of Pirates of the Caribbean. Until next time, this has been Indiana Homes. Thank you for watching. Please hit the like button, subscribe, and hit the notifications button. Thank you very much.